headquarters in Syria.
He died like a dog. He died like a coward. The world is now a much safer place.
Trump says he watched much of the mission unfold from the White House late last night.
680 News Time, 7:05. We have breaking news from Scarborough. Toronto police say someone has been seriously hurt after a crash involving a motorcycle and an 18-wheeler. It happened at Ellesmere and Warden just before 6:30 this evening. Police say officers arrived on scene to find the motorcyclist had been thrown from his bike in the crash. There's no word yet on what caused the crash or if charges are being laid.
On Thursday, Torontonians find out if the plan to bring a Google Tech neighborhood to the waterfront is moving forward. 680's Cam Dort has the latest on negotiations between Waterfront and Sidewalk Labs.
A futuristic neighborhood can make for easier and more efficient living, but actually getting it built appears to be the hard part. There are still several sticky points.
The last thing I want is for Canada to build a fucking more high-tech
proposal into an evaluation stage. Andrew Twelby is with Waterfront Toronto and says guaranteeing new transit to the area is impossible.
In terms of funding and planning for new transit line, that's the responsibility that follows the orders of government. It's just not something that we're in a position ourselves to guarantee. So having it as a precondition is why it was identified as a threshold issue.
Meanwhile, Janet Ecker, the vice chair of Toronto Global and former MP, says a failure to reach an agreement would send a negative signal to the rest of the world, adding that Toronto needs to get its act together when it comes to big projects. I'm Cam Dorrit.
680 News Time, 7:06. This portion of the news brought to you by Aaron Park Toyota. An historic number of women were elected to the House of Commons in Monday's vote, but advocates say we are still well shy of gender balance. 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney has more.
A record 98 women have been elected to the House of Commons, which is 10 more than the previous high mark set in the 2015 vote. But we're still far off when it comes to parity, since women make up half the population, but hold less than a third of the seats in the House. Eleanor Fast, executive director of the group Equal Voice, tells me there are unfortunately still many barriers facing women who aspire to be politicians, including lack of supports and training and many sexist attacks.
Experiencing abuse online and in real life, and that goes, women from all parties and all backgrounds.
She says legislatures across the country need to do better to battle hate and intolerance and help women succeed in politics. Cormac
picking on me because I'm a woman. No, we're not. We're picking on you because we don't like you.
707. Toronto's LGBTQ community and their allies are planning to protest as the Toronto Public Library goes ahead with an event featuring a woman who says transgender rights endanger women. A group called Radical Feminists Unite is hosting Megan Murphy's talk, while protesters say publicly funded spaces should not be used as a platform for hatred. Others say libraries have been a forum for free expression for decades. Professor Alvin Schrader with the University of Alberta believes labels of right-wing and left-wing in these controversies are becoming more murky and less useful.
The extremist language and vituperative rhetoric that is coming out of these controversies, it's indistinguishable.
Earlier this year, the Vancouver Public Library decided to go ahead with an event featuring Murphy sparking similar controversy. Following this decision, the Vancouver Pride Society banned the library from marching in the Pride Parade.
Libraries marching Pride Parades now?
7:08. Hamilton's Public School Board wants to form a review panel on bullying in the wake of the stabbing death of 14-year-old Devin Brackay-Selvey. According to the Star, trustees with the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board will be meeting tomorrow to debate a report. That's from the Director of Education that is calling for a Safe Schools Bullying Prevention Review Panel. It will be aimed to address heightened concern regarding the issue of bullying after Selvey's death at Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School earlier this month. Brackay-Selvey's mother had said she tried to get the school to address her son's bullying for over a month. A 14-year-old and an 18-year-old have both been charged with first-degree murder in connection with the boy's death on October 7th.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we will check the price at the pumps. 680 News Time, 7:09.
680 News, Toronto.
Aaron Park.
Hey, Edgar, what made you happy about the deal you got at Aaron Park Toyota?
I was always treated fairly. Aaron Park Toyota to me is a good company. They gave me good service and good deals.
So Google seems to think they're going to work with. I don't understand. These companies always set up subsidiary companies. They want to set up They're calling it Sidewalk Labs. Everything, the garbage cans, everything is going to have computers and Wi-Fi in it. They haven't explained where the money's going to come from.
Gas price update. Enpro predicting the price will not change at midnight, holding steady at $1.18.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time at 7:10.
You'll always be the first to know.
Breaking news when it happens.
680 News.
Catch all the excitement of your favorite slots and table games at Casino Woodbine. Sign up for a free One Rewards membership today, and you could be eligible to get your first $250 on us.
The only casino I go to is Casino-Rama. That's why I got this thing here, eh? Casino-Rama. This is for my card. Here's my card. I'm supposed to hang my rewards membership card out here.
Toronto's home for gaming and entertainment.
Thank you for calling Pizza. Yes, I'd like to make a reservation for 4. I'm happy to take your order, but you don't need a reservation. Excuse me? You want to try the new gourmet thins, right? How'd you know? This has been happening a lot lately. It's a 10-inch thin crust, perfectly sized for one, or get a few to share, like creamy truffle or pesto amore. And
I'll tell you something about Ontario if you ain't from here. We all eat pizza. We know it's cardboard, but we love it. There's a Canadian A pizza. There's a meat lovers pizza. It's cardboard, but we love it.
680 News Time 7:11. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig here.
This report is brought to you by the 407 ETR, which is in great shape, by the way. Just a bit of construction popping up now. So westbound 407 at McCowan, it's 2 left lanes of construction. The eastbound side of the 407 is looking all right. They are putting in some construction here just as you approach the 404 over to Woodbine for some road work. It's going to be 2 right lanes that are closed off, that they're in the process of closing right now. Westbound QEW, the crash just west of the 427, blocking a couple of right lanes. That's now cleared away, but we're looking at volume all the way from approaching Bloor on the 427, and as you approach the 427 from the westbound Gardner. So things are going to start to get better here, but it's very backed up on the southbound 427 from approaching Bloor because of this problem. Eastbound Gardner, looking at volume, still approaching Jarvis to Cherry through the construction zone. Eastbound 401 is busy approaching Dixon to Weston Express, east of the 400 collectors, and approaching Leslie and the collectors, a slight buildup. Westbound 401 is busy Dufferin to west of Keele Express, Islington Express and collectors to Dixon slightly, and approaching here Ontario collectors to Mavis, and still with a slowdown from the 407 to west of Trafalgar. Almost 80% of drivers report that some, most, or even all of their tolls are offset through time and gas savings on 407 ETR, your fast, safe, and reliable choice. Your next report is at 7:21, and with the forecast, here's Michelle Mackey.
We picked up between 25 and 45 millimeters of rain since Saturday night across the GTA. The rain has stopped, but the wind has not, so I hope you brought in any Halloween decorations. That's 40 to 60 kilometers an hour this evening before easing overnight. Dress in fall layers Monday. We start the day at 7 before we reach an above seasonal daytime high of 15 degrees. And if you like the warmth, great news. Tuesday, 17 and sunshine. Tonight, clearing and a low of 5 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, an overcast sky and 13 degrees, overcast and 11 over at Pearson International. 680 News Time, 7:13.
You know what's crazy? Not using smarter tools to manage your small business. You work too hard to work this hard. Collecting receipts? Is this the 80s?
QuickBooks gives you a smarter set of business tools that do all the hard work for you. You may work for yourself, but you don't have to go at it alone.
It's easier than rewinding a VHS before returning it. You earned it. We're here to make sure you get it.
I remember them days.
Save 70% when you buy it through QuickBooks.
2 seeds. That's 4 we got today. It's next year's fucking crop, eh?
Here, the Swap Your Ride sales event at Aaronwood Ford, where everybody saves an extra $1,000. We have hundreds of
Rise up, rise up.
Skip the showroom and buy online at AaronwoodFord.com. Aaronwood's online buying tools makes it so easy.
I'll deal with that in a second. This part here is going in my cigarette, whether you like it or not.
And remember, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Overcast and 13 degrees. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Casey Taylor. Here are the top stories this hour. MPPs head back to work in the morning after a nearly 5-month break. Doug Ford maintaining the recess was to let MPPs do important work in their ridings. The opposition arguing it was so the Premier could butt out of the federal election campaign. And a 5-year manhunt for the world's most wanted man is over. U.S. President Donald Trump today confirming ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was killed in a U.S.-led raid in northern Syria. 680 News Time, 7:15.
Didn't he just pull out of Syria? Am I missing parts of the news here?
Here is Colin Teskey.
Casey, it's Game 5 of the World Series. It'll go in just under an hour, and Max Scherzer will not start for the Nationals. Joe Ross will make the start in his place. Houston has rallied to win the last 2 games to tie the series at 2 games apiece. First pitch will fly just after 8 o'clock. Happening now in the NFL, a couple of 4 o'clock games that are about to wrap up. San Francisco all over the Panthers, 51-13, as they will remain unbeaten. The only other unbeaten team, the Patriots, well on their way to another win. They lead the Browns 27-10. The Texans trying to hold off the Raiders. They are leading 27-24 with just over 4 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Earlier, the Bills had no answer for the Eagles' ground game.
Second and goal from the 3. Trying to motion his players, gets the snap, gives it to Howard, driving up the middle, and he goes in. Touchdown.
Eagles moved to 500 with a 31-13 win. Bills dropped to 5-2. Other winners, the Colts, Titans, Saints, Rams, Chiefs, Lions, Chargers, and the Seahawks. Sunday Nighter will feature the Chiefs hosting the Green Bay Packers and no Patrick Mahomes for KC. He's out with that ankle injury, so Matt Moore will make the start in his place. Kickoff is set for 8:20. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime when you're home of Tim and Sid on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
When I opened my bakery, I was over the moon. But the constant paperwork brought me back down to earth. Then, things got easier when I opened the RBC Digital Choice Business Account Package with unlimited features like electronic debit and credit transactions, Moneris, and mobile check deposits. Now, I spend less time sifting through business transactions and more time sifting flour for my heavenly butter tarts.
Visit rbc.com/let's make things easier with the RBC Digital Choice Business Account Package.
Welcome to the afterlife, old red sedan. It's a good thing your owner needed to get rid of you fast.
Is this where I become a kidney car?
It is. You'll start supporting life-changing medical.
If long noodles are good luck, does that mean it's bad luck if you drop a long noodle on the ground?
And I thought I'd sit in that driveway forever.
Need to get rid of an old car? Don't scrap it. Your car has a higher calling. Get a fast, free, and friendly tow for a minimum $300 tax receipt. Donate at kidneycar.ca.
680 News Time, 7:17. Evacuation orders have expanded as firefighters struggle to beat back a wildfire in Northern California's wine country. Authorities issued the order as historic winds fueled the fire and prompted utility companies to shut power to millions of people to prevent additional wildfires. Reporter Will Reeve is an evacuated town near San Francisco.
Normally, the town of Healdsburg would be bustling, but with evacuation orders in place, 50,000 people told to get out from here and other towns nearby as critical danger looms. The Kincaid fire burning tens of thousands of acres just over the hill.
Officials say the fire is only 11% contained. It's not business as usual on the Lakeshore East GO line. There is no service this weekend. Metrolink says its crews can work on several infrastructure projects. There will be some shuttle buses. For more details, head to the GO Transit website. Regular service will resume in time for the morning commute tomorrow. Finding wayward trash on your property isn't that uncommon, but a Michigan couple was surprised yesterday when a piece of space junk landed in their backyard. Reporter Trevor Alt says the couple went outside after hearing a loud noise and discovered a foil-wrapped box with 4 legs, several Samsung plaques on it, and the words space selfie.
The high-tech contraption had been launched the previous week using a high-altitude balloon system. Samsung wanted their balloon to come back down. It just got away from them. The company saying in a statement, weather conditions resulted in an early soft landing in a selected rural area. The gear has since been retrieved and nobody was hurt. The family thankful it landed in their yard and not elsewhere.
The balloon allowed people to merge
At least it wasn't frozen
of themselves
fucking
with
shit
a
from a
photo
jet
of
liner.
Earth taken from space. Joker has narrowly reclaimed the top spot at the box office this weekend over Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Starting to notice.
In its fourth week of release, Joker continues to draw a good crowd in theaters, earning an estimated $18.9 million in ticket sales, just above the $18.6 million haul for Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Don't ruin my morning.
But with such a narrow difference, the order could switch when the final numbers are tabulated. Meanwhile, the animated Addams Family is third with 11.6 million.
Animated. They did that in the 90s, man.
Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together, 680 News Time, 7:20.
The clock
You
is
better
ticking
have-
on 2019.
You better have like a loose skid or something on the highway to entertain my ass, man. If you don't put these damn movies on some sort of site where I can watch them with ads or something, I ain't gonna see them. So it ain't part of my pop culture or nothing, man. I haven't really watched cable much since the first fucking Marvel movies came out. I know people that worked on those movies, Spider-Man and fucking, what was it, Wolverine or something? Jobless. Oh, my cigarette's going out.
Make the trip to save thousands. One location only, 1177 Caledonia Road, west of Dufferin, north of Lawrence. Go to Imperial Carbon and
I want to hear that motorcycle hit a freaking chicken truck, and 1,000 chickens are on the 401 right now, man.
7:21, time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by IA Clarington Investments. So we're clearing a crash on the westbound QEW, just west of the 427. So we are seeing some bit of volume as you approach Dixie now, and just slightly as you come off of the southbound 427 onto the westbound QEW. We have a new crash now on the eastbound QE at the 427. The right lane is blocked here with this problem, and we're just waiting for crews to arrive. So far, just the right lane is blocked, and it's starting to bunch up as you approach the 427. We just have volume in other places. Eastbound 401 east of Mississauga Road, it's slow. And then approaching Dixon, it's also heavy. And then once you get east to Weston in the express, it's light slow down. Same with through the express lanes just east of Bayview. Westbound 401, just a bit of volume west of Mavis. The rest of it is in pretty good shape right now. Northbound DVP, not terrible, but not the best that it could be. We're seeing volume north of Eglinton to approaching York Mills on and off. Southbound DVP, same thing, York Mills, but down to Lawrence. Westbound QEW, as I said, approaching Dixie, we're jamming up here because of this crash, and everything is starting to get back up to speed westbound. Eastbound Gardner is still slow, Jarvis to Cherry. IA Clarington, where they believe in the value of active management to navigate today's complex markets. Visit iaclarington.com. Your next report is at 7:31, and with the forecast, here's Michelle Mackey.
A dark and dreary evening in store. Hope you don't have any outdoor plans. Now, it's not looking like we're going to see any more rain, but we are still dealing with that wind. Gusts between 40 and 60 kilometers an hour possible till about midnight, and then they begin to ease. And we'll clear out into Monday. Just dress in fall layers for back to work and school. Start the day at 7 degrees, but then we are expecting an above seasonal daytime high of 15. 11 is where we should be at this time of year. And if you like the warmth, you will love Tuesday. 17 degrees, plus we're holding on to that sunshine. Enjoy it while you can. Wednesday, 8 degrees and showers. Tonight's overnight low is 5 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, an overcast sky and 13 degrees, overcast and 11 degrees over at Pearson International. Coming up at 7:30, provincial politicians are heading back to Queen's Park tomorrow after a prolonged break-in as multiple potential teacher walkouts continue to loom. 680 News Time, 7:24.
Canadians don't let weather slow us down. We get out there to work, to play, in the truck that more of us drive. The Ford F-150, built with capability to help you own every season, and smart technology that makes every job easier. Right now, get 0% purchase financing for up to 60 months plus over $8,000 in total value on select new 2019 F-150 models. Get the truck built for any season. Get your F-150 at your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
When you need to know, now. 680news.com. Breaking news, traffic, and weather. There when you need it. And free. Keeping you connected. This is 680news.com.
This portion of the news brought to you by Cold Drops. It was a busy night on the roads for the OPP. Sergeant Kerry Schmidt telling 680 News officers arrested a significant number of impaired drivers throughout the overnight and into the morning.
Several single vehicle crashes. One driver was stopped when they were found on the side of the road fast asleep. They were impaired and charged accordingly. Other crashes involved injury.
Where was the car
responsible were impaired.
Schmidt is urging people to be aware of drunk drivers and to make a difference by not letting anyone you know operate a vehicle while under the influence. He says officers will continue to hold people responsible and Halloween festivities next weekend. Coming up in 60 seconds, your 680 News small business feature. 680 News time, 7:25.
There are lots of ways to treat your cold symptoms. You can carry around a spoon and syrup, or try alternative methods. How about those lozenges?
No lie, they hurting kids or they driving drunk, go ahead, call the cops on their ass. Beating up dogs or leaving them locked in cars or any of that fucked up shit, go ahead and call the cops on their ass. Just people think, oh, well, you do a crime, so therefore you shouldn't get involved. Fuck that. What's my fucking drug crime got to do with your fucking endangering and abusing people? And I ain't the only one saying it. Go check the streetgangs.com videos, all that shit, man. Put the police to the work they're supposed to be doing. Writing traffic tickets, arresting rapists and fucking drunk fucking drivers and shit, man. That's what the fuck they're supposed to be doing. Put them to fucking work. If nobody ever reports shit, what are they doing? Wandering around bothering us.
For the 680 News Small Business feature brought to you by Sage Accounting.
Technology is becoming a great equalizer for small business, as startups today have access to tech that was previously reserved for only the world's biggest companies. Artificial intelligence can now be utilized by any sized firm. It's affordable and relatively easy to use. Stephen Thomas is the director of the Master of Management in Artificial Intelligence and Management Analytics programs at Queen's University's Smith School of Business.
A lot of people have heard about some of the big successes in AI coming from the big companies like Google and their search engine, Amazon recommending products, Tesla building their self-driving cars, and that's what most people hear about. But, small businesses who don't have these billion-dollar budgets and these teams of thousands of data scientists, they can be doing a lot on a shoestring budget.
Thomas says the biggest companies have already done the hard work to develop the artificial intelligence programming, and now it's accessible.
They basically can rent these services from cloud providers like Microsoft Azure, Google's Cloud, Amazon AWS, with a very fair pay-as-you-go pricing model. So, if you're a small business, you're only dealing with 10 customers a day, you only pay for 10 customers a day worth of services. And as you scale up, you pay for more, but you're getting more.
And Thomas says the programming doesn't require a computer degree to make work, and it's a necessity for small business success.
If you're not already collecting data on customer interactions, then you should be. So you got to use a CRM tool,
fucking crazy,
for example, like Salesforce, to collect data on every customer interaction you have, whether it's a call, an email, a website visit, an in-person visit. But once you have that data in place, that's what the AI algorithms and the analytics algorithms are going to start working on. Who your top customers are. They'll tell you which customers are about to leave, predict how much money each customer will spend in their lifetime. They'll help you figure out the best sales or offers to make for each customer individually.
That's Stephen Thomas with the Queen's University Smith School of Business. With a spotlight on small
Here's the
business,
problem.
I'm Mike
If these dispensaries start using that
You run a
shit, they're
small
going to find
business.
out all
You've
their
got good
customers
people
are
working
sick
for you.
and dying.
But
They ain't going to make
the
much
reality
money
is
off
you
them.
spend
Those
most
are the
of your
ones they're
time
going
on
to treat like
paperwork,
shit.
invoicing and chasing
And then they lose all their
payments.
business.
But it doesn't have to be that
They
way.
don't think. They
Meet
don't
Sage
think.
Accounting Software. Secure, safe, and trusted. You can take care of invoicing on the road, banking at the office, and cash flow from home. Work where you want, when you want.
I'm not going to roll 3 out of this. I'm going to roll 2 bigger ones. Is what I'm going to do. Someone's telling me just roll bigger joints.
Get all the
Let's
details
just
at
roll this into 2 bigger joints.
sage.com/smallbusiness.
You text
There's
it.
times to
DM it,
conserve.
say it
There's
5
times
times
to get rid of all the evidence.
Let's grab a drink soon, ? It should be more like, let's grab a drink soon, ! Because not everyone who says it, does it. If you miss your crew, why wait for them to make plans? Hit someone up you said it to 3 weeks ago. You'll laugh, catch up, remember the good times. So will they. When's the last time you made a drink soon happen? JP Weiser.
Jesus Christ, man.
Please enjoy responsibly.
Fucking fire has
Checking the
been acting
business
up around me.
travelers forecast in Vancouver, partly cloudy, 8 degrees. Winnipeg, mostly cloudy, -1. Montreal, mostly cloudy, 12 degrees. Downtown Toronto right now, overcast and 13. 680 News Time, 7:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good evening. This is Saturday, October the 27th. I'm Eden Devetta.
And I'm Casey Taylor. Here's what's making news this hour.
MVPs are returning to Queen's Park Monday following a 5-month break. While Ford says his mind will be on job creation, opposition leader Andrea Horvath is speaking out. A person is in hospital with serious injuries after a motorcycle crash in Scarborough.
After 5 years, the leader of ISIS has been killed in a U.S. nighttime raid.
The deadline to push Sidewalk Labs' proposal into the evaluation stage is almost here, but transit, privacy, and the size of the project are still major sticking points with Waterfront Toronto.
Both the 49ers and Patriots remain unbeaten in the NFL. Max Scherzer will not pitch tonight as the Astros and Nationals look for the edge in Game 5 of the World Series. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, a spotlight on small business and a new study that looks at millennial entrepreneurs in Canada, and their process is probably different than you think.
680 News Time, 7:31.
Now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig here.
This report is brought to you by the Seasons on Little Lake. So we have a crash on the eastbound QEW at the 427. The right lane is blocked here. Some tows are now on the scene. So it's starting to build as you make your way through this scene, but it's not really too terrible. So that's good news. Continuing east onto the Gardner, a little heavy through the construction from Jarvis to Cherry. Westbound QEW, approaching Dixie, you're slowing down just for a touch. Southbound DVP, a little slow. York Mills to Lawrence. Northbound DVP, same thing, just a touch of volume. North of Eglinton to approaching York Mills. Westbound 401 jams up just slightly as you approach Mavis. And then eastbound 401, same thing as you approach Mavis, a little bit of volume. And then again approaching Dixon. And then from Weston and the Collectors to approaching the 400. In town, we have a closure of the northbound lanes on Warden at Ellesmere. These are closed for a crash. So traffic is heavy in the area. People expecting to go north on Warden, maybe jump onto the 401. Well, you can't do that from here. You're going to get forced south or continue east or west. No northbound traffic at Warden and Ellesmere for the time being for a collision. Home construction is underway at the Seasons on Little Lake and Midland. Stunning townhomes starting from the mid-300s. Visit seasonsonlittlelake.com. Your next report is at 7:41, and with the forecast, here's Michelle Mackey.
A great night to stay inside and get ready for the week. It's gray and gloomy and the wind's still quite strong. That will ease overnight and we'll see a clearing too. Dress in layers for back to work and school. Monday, we start the day at 7 degrees before we hit an above seasonal 15 degrees for the afternoon and plenty of sunshine. Tonight's overnight low is 5 degrees.
Downtown right now, we're looking at an overcast sky and 13 degrees, partly cloudy, 11 over at Pearson International. 680 News Time, 7:33.
After a nearly 5-month break, MPPs will be heading back to Queen's Park tomorrow morning.
680's Veronica Thor reports on the hot-button issues set to be covered.
Well, Doug Ford has said his focus will be on job creation. Opposition leader Andrea Horwath is speaking out, saying the Premier has other priorities.
While Doug Ford is telling families to tighten their belts, he rolled out tax breaks to some of Ontario's wealthiest and handed lucrative patronage jobs to his cronies and political allies. He spent public money on a failed campaign to cover every gas station in Ontario with partisan messages designed to help his Conservative friends. He even threatened business owners with hefty fines if they failed to fall in line. Those are Doug Ford's priorities.
The Ford government, however, has promised a new tone, vowing to dial down behavior
the gas station guys thinking, I hope nobody shoots
Those
me
fights
tonight.
even sparked a warning from the Speaker of the House just before the break. Also expected to be hot topics Monday are the looming strikes for teachers' unions, as well as Premier Ford's shuffling of 3 cabinet ministers over the break. I'm Veronica Thor.
680 News Time, 7:34. The 5-year manhunt for the world's most wanted person is now over. U.S. President Donald Trump announcing today a top terrorist is dead after a U.S.-led raid in northern Syria.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead.
In a rare Sunday address here at the White House, the president says American intelligence found the Islamic State leader in northwestern Syria. Commandos stormed a compound a few miles from the Turkish border and chased him into a dead-end tunnel, where the president says a whimpering al-Baghdadi set off a suicide vest.
He died like a dog. He died like a coward.
He's suggesting it's more significant than the Obama administration's takedown of Osama bin Laden. Sagar Mangani at the White House.
French President Emmanuel Macron, meantime, has taken
this
to
guy
Twitter
actually
to warn
exists
the
as far
death
as
of
we
the
can
Islamic State group founder and leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is not for the extremist organization, but not its end. Macron says, he's saying the U.S. raid that killed the leader, who sought to establish a new Islamic caliphate across Syria and Iraq, was a blow against Daesh.
All you did is make
but he says it's
somebody
only a
else is going to
step.
step
Quote,
up.
the fight continues with our partners in the international coalition so that the terrorist organization is definitely defeated.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. Heated controversy surrounding the Toronto Public Library's decision not to cancel an event featuring a feminist who is known for denying the existence of transgender people. The talk, led by Megan Murphy, is set to go ahead on Tuesday in spite of vocal opposition by LGBTQ members. Professor Alvin Schrader of the University of Alberta says there's been a rise in such opposition in recent years, coming from people of all stripes.
I personally think the labels of right wing and left wing or right and left in these controversies become more and more murky and less useful, because the extremist language and vituperative rhetoric that is coming out of these controversies, it's indistinguishable.
Schrader says it's the library's role to be a forum for free speech.
On Thursday, Torontonians find out if the plan to bring a Google Tech neighborhood to the waterfront is moving forward. 680's Cam Dort has the latest on negotiations between Waterfront Toronto and Sidewalk Labs.
Calling them threshold points, the major issues continue to be the size of the land, paying for transit, and data privacy. Janet Eckers, the former finance minister for the province, and says these sticking points need to be resolved to push the city forward.
I would hope that the Google project would continue to send out that strong message.
Google can't make Android, Chrome, and YouTube work together.
Challenge that can innovate, create, and do exciting things for the benefit of the city.
Andrew Tumulty is with Waterfront Toronto, and he has real concerns surrounding privacy issues.
Any proposals are going to have to abide by existing provincial, federal regulations as far as data and privacy collection.
If the proposal does not pass, it's back to more public consultations and new proposals for Toronto's crown jewel of real estate. I'm Cam Dorrit.
680 News Time, 7:37. Breaking news from Toronto police, who say a motorcyclist has serious injuries following a crash involving an 18-wheeler truck and a motorcycle. It happened just before 6:30 this evening at Ellesmere Road and Warden Avenue in Scarborough. Constable Allison Douglas Cook says roads are closed in the area for a police investigation. We just received word that the victim is conscious and breathing and that their injuries appear to be non-life-threatening. They've been taken to a trauma center with a possible leg injury. Police are still on the scene, so there are road closures collectors. Northbound Warden is closed at Ellesmere. Stay with 680 News for the latest on this developing story.
Your next hydro bill could see a slightly higher price tag. Mike Eppel reports from the 680 Business Center.
The Ontario Energy Board has approved a slight increase in hydro rates for households and small businesses taking effect at the start of November. The agency says that rates are going up by about $2 or 1.8% for a typical residential customer who uses 700 kilowatt hours per month. That keeps it in line with inflation, which is what the Ford government said earlier this year when it said it would continue to subsidize hydro rates and hold any increases to that inflation rate level. Prices are increasing partly due to government legislation aimed at reflecting the actual cost of supply, and partly due to the refurbishment of nuclear power plants. Changes to the look of the hydro bills as well will take effect next week with a new line displaying the level of provincial rebates for customers. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Eppel.
Still to come on 680 News, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News time, 7:39.
All we said was William Ashley and...
The William Ashley Warehouse Sale? It's finally here! I love the William Ashley Warehouse Sale. 20 departments, 25,000 square feet. It's Toronto's most iconic warehouse sale. Come on, let's go!
You can't have this much fun shopping online. The 44th annual William Ashley Warehouse Sale returns with up to 90% off tableware, kitchenware, and home decor by all the famous brands you know and love from William Ashley. Sale on now. 111 Credit Road, Highway 400 in Langstaff.
Now the 680 News gas price update. April predicts the price of gas will not change at midnight, holding at $1.18.9 a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News time, 7:40.
I'm here with Bill Coy of Coy Brothers, and we're talking about Halloween costumes. I'm going to be a superhero.
I have just the thing to make you fly.
Really, Bill? What's that?
An Echo PV770 backpack blower.
That doesn't seem all that safe, Bill.
The Echo PV770 blows leaves, debris, sticks, even capes. It's perfect for commercial users and folks with big yards, and it's on sale for $659.95.
You'll be blown up, and away with an Echo blower from Coy Brothers.
KOOYBROS.com.
Paul Cook and Catherine Chute.
Weekday mornings starting at 5:30.
This is 680 News.
As a Desjardins insurance agent, I live and work in the same community. So my client might also be my plumber, my mechanic, or my jiu-jitsu instructor. Does it change things? Well, when my client jiu-jitsu instructor volunteers me to demonstrate an effective submission technique that involves him sitting on my torso while his knee is lodged firmly under my chin, it gives me peace of mind to know that he has peace of mind.
At Desjardins Insurance, our agents are invested in you because they're invested in their communities. Better things beyond insurance. Visit us at DesjardinAgents.com.
I swear I dropped a piece of weed. I don't know, man.
680 News time, 7:41. Now time for traffic and weather together on the one. Here's Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by the GTA Lexus Dealers Association. So a few issues. First off, westbound 401 seeing a slowdown west of Yonge in the collectors. Not sure if this is for a collision or whatnot just yet, but we are starting to see a buildup here. And then we have a couple of stalled vehicles on the westbound 401 west of Keele Indy Express. The left lane is blocked. Tows are on the scene here. They're actually off to the left shoulder. Both problems here. Actually, the MTO is rolling up on the first stalled vehicle now and taking the left lane. So we do have left lane blocked for sure now, just west of Keele Indy Express, but it's jamming things right up on the westbound 401 all the way from the Allen, and it seems to be growing very, very quickly. So pick the collectors if you want to avoid this through this area. Some slight delays northbound DVP north of Eglinton to approaching York Mills, and then eastbound Garners is a touch slow through the construction Jarvis to Cherry, and then we have a crash on the eastbound QEW at the 427. The right lane is still blocked here. Tows are on the scene, and it's slightly delayed through here. It's a very busy drive around the intersection of Warden and Ellesmere right now off the highways. We have northbound Warden at Ellesmere closed for a crash, and it's really jamming things up. So if you're hoping to continue north onto Warden and jump onto the 401, you'll have to take a little detour around these closures. It shouldn't be too bad, though, but all the side streets are getting really backed up. Receive up to $5,000 in total credits on the 2019 Lexus ES350. Visit your Lexus dealer for details. Your next report is at 7:51, and with the forecast, here's Michelle Mackey.
Heavy rain did cause some localized flooding earlier this morning. The rain has now stopped, but the wind is relentless. So I hope you don't have any Halloween decorations outside. And then Monday, it's all about dressing in fall layers. We start the day at 7 degrees with some patchy fog, and then it's the afternoon sunshine and a high of 15 degrees. And that above seasonal trend will continue into Tuesday. Tuesday, 17, and we hold on to that sunshine. Tonight, the overnight low is 5 degrees. Right now in downtown Toronto, overcast skies, 12 degrees, and at Pearson Airport, overcast and 13. Still to come on 680 News, we'll detail the impressive lifetime achievements of the longest-serving African-American in congressional history. 680 News Time, 7:43.
From finger painting to times tables, school's the start of a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to prepare kids for the future, their future. So we're updating it to give kids the tools they need to support positive mental health, develop real-life skills, and prepare for what's next, so they're ready to rise to every test, during school and after. Learn how the government is improving your child's educational journey at ontario.ca/education for tomorrow. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Find a car today, a much better way. Visit OntarioCars.ca.
Now, see here, I know you're an expert on buying a car and all, and I appreciate that, I really do. But don't you suppose that maybe, just maybe, everybody could use a little help, like Jerry here?
Well, she told me it was easy. I went to OntarioCars.ca, and don't you know, I fell in love with a beauty.
See, look up OntarioCars.ca to find sellers you can trust. Don't worry, you'll do just fine.
That's OntarioCars.ca.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Overcast and 12 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good evening. From the 680 News Broadcast Centre, I'm Eden DeBeva, and here are the top stories this hour. Ontario MPPs will be returning to Queen's Park tomorrow morning after nearly 5 months away. But just because it's their first day back, it doesn't mean it will be a relaxing one. Many MPs are looking to have their issues addressed, including education cuts and transit plans. ICE leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead after U.S. forces conducted a nighttime raid in his compound in northern Syria. U.S. President Donald Trump made the announcement this morning in a televised address at the White House. And coming up after sports, we'll have tips on how to keep your teeth healthy ahead of trick-or-treating. 680 News Time, 7:45. Now, 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Good evening, Colin Teskey.
Good evening, Eden. Game 5 of the World Series set to take place in Washington. And after taking the first 2 games on the road in Houston, the Astros have rallied to win both games so far in Washington, D.C. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Max Scherzer will not start tonight for Washington, so Joe Ross will take his place. And happening now in the NFL, we are gearing up for Sunday Night Football. It's the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Green Bay Packers, and Matt Moore will take the place of injured Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. Some finals from the 4 o'clock slate. The San Francisco 49ers remain unbeaten in a big way, winning 51-13 over the Carolina Panthers. The New England Patriots also remaining unbeaten. They took down Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns 27-13. Houston also hanging on to beat the Oakland Raiders 27-24. The Bills, they had no answer for the Eagles at home.
Second and goal from the 3. Trying to motion his players, gets the snap, gives it to Howard, driving up the middle, and he goes in. Touchdown.
Eagles get a much-needed win. They move to 4-4 with a 31-13 win over Buffalo, who drops to 5-2. Other winners, the Colts, Titans, Saints, Rams, Jags, Lions, Chargers, and the Seahawks. And happening now on Rogers Hometown Hockey, the Sens have a 2-1 lead on the San Jose Sharks. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour, or anytime on your home of Tim and Sid on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 7:47.
It's the Best Buy Grand Opening Sale, now to Sunday, celebrating our newly renovated experience stores. Get door crusher deals on TVs, laptops, major appliances, and more. Amazing savings in all stores and online at bestbuy.ca.
Find out what Audi DNA is made of at the Audi 7-Day Sales Event from October 21st to 27th. Don't miss this limited time event with some of our best in-store offers on select 2019 models, like the dynamic 4-door A5 Sportback or the capable 7-seater Q7 SUV. Visit Audi.ca/GTA or your local dealer to hear about our in-store offers today. Act fast. Offers end October 27th.
It's the Best Buy Grand Opening Sale, now to Sunday, celebrating our newly renovated experience stores. Get door crusher deals on TVs, laptops, major appliances, and more. Amazing savings in all stores and online at bestbuy.ca.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. Former U.S. Representative John Conyers, the longest-serving Black member of Congress and founder of the Black Caucus, has died at the age of 90.
John Conyers was first elected to Congress in 1964, winning by 108 votes. The Democrat was among high-profile politicians toppled by sexual harassment allegations in 2017.
I am retiring today, and I want everyone to know how much I appreciate the support.
Conyers regularly won elections with more than 80% of the vote, even after his wife went to prison for taking a bribe. After a 15-year fight, he won passage of legislation declaring the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a national holiday. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
The Ontario Dental Association is reminding people to look after their teeth this Halloween. The holiday comes with many sugary treats which can do damage to your mouth. And if you have a choice, Association President Dr. Kim Hansen says pick the chocolate.
Whether it's white or milk chocolate, and they have less sugar. And the nice thing about chocolate is that they tend to melt in your mouth quickly, so they don't stick around as long. So those are some of the better treats that you can get.
He says sticky candies, even chips, can get caught near crevices of your teeth and cause tooth decay. Hansen also says to remember to floss and wait 30 minutes before brushing to prevent damage to the enamel on your teeth. And in some more nature-geared news, 9 years of work by researchers from around the world and several Canadian universities has now allowed scientists to pinpoint the evolutionary relationship between plants. The study published in the Journal of Nature Analysis and the genetics of 1,100 plant species from algae to elm trees, and it's giving science a family tree for most of the plants around the world. And from what? That allows scientists to look at how nature has developed chemicals and proteins useful to humans. The work has already been used to develop a treatment for blindness, which is now in clinical trials. Coming up in just 60 seconds, Trump and Mother together on the ones. 680 News Time, 7:50.
Simply Smart Home makes it easy to own a Google Home Mini for free. Simply Smart Home is the #1 Google Nest Pro dealer in Canada. Simply Smart Home is giving away thousands of Google Home Minis across Ontario. Eligible Ontario homeowners will receive 1 free Google Home Mini per household. Supplies are limited. Visit freemany.ca to register today. That's freemany.ca. Promotion is valid for Ontario homeowners only. No purchase necessary. Google Home Mini is provided at no cost. Google and Google Home Mini are trademarks of Google LLC.
Somebody is standing to make money off that shit, or they wouldn't give it away for free.
Nothing can replace family time. Even if my coffee mug at work has a picture of my kids on it, it's not the same. That picture